Welcome, property investors. This is the Building in Perth podcast with your two hosts, Chris Holland and Tony Hyde. If you're a property investor or you're curious about investing in property in Western Australia, this is the podcast for you. The reason for that is we're not going to hold back. We're not going to sugarcoat things. We're certainly not going to bullshit you, and we're going to exploit everything that you need to know. Every month, we're going to have special guests on, industry professionals, and then we're going to release an episode every single Monday. So you're not going to miss anything. So please stay tuned, like and subscribe so you never miss anything, and enjoy.
Hello there and welcome to the Building in Perth podcasts with your host Tony Hyde and
Chris Holland.
Before we start anything today, and if you're on YouTube, if not, get on YouTube and have a look at this haircut that Chris
It's well
has got.
worth it.
So it's blonde, peroxide blonde, and I gotta say I don't mind it actually. It looks pretty cool.
You like it?
Yeah, I did. What happened there? What happened? Why?
Lost a bet.
Lost a bet.
Now, this is what happens after you've got 4 or 5 beers and, you make silly decisions.
You having beers yesterday?
I never have beers. No,
It looks good. It was good. That and a moustache, vaping. Just top knotting were there, all right. Look at you with your linen shirt on as well.
Linen
I don't know what's
shirt,
going on here. There's something happening here.
This is all because we're going to Bali. So our Christmas party last year, we set a sales team at a goal of X amount of houses that they had to convert over, and part of the reward is to take everyone to Bali. So 2 more sleeps, mate, and we're going to Bali. There's 16 of us going over. We're taking the kids. So I can't wait. This is just a bit of a laugh.
I can't wait. No, I like it. Anyway, so look, thanks for listening in, guys. Again, we're going to cover off like a really important topic. I think it's sustainable building practices and energy efficiency and energy ratings, how to achieve them, what it is, why we do it, and why it's important in the future. So, like, what is meant by sustainable building practices?
Look, to be honest, there's loads of different ways to build a house, mate. You can, over here in WA, double brick construction is the main, or used to be the main. I'd say 95% of homes are double brick here. Not anymore. It's probably 50-50. W is finally catching up with the times. You get brick veneer building methods, where there's brick on the outside, timber or steel on the inside. You get reverse veneer, which is timber on the outside, brick on the inside. You get timber frame. You get tilt panel construction, which is a concrete tilt form. You get Hebel blocks. You get SEPS panels. You get EPS panels. And times are changing, simple as that. And we're catching up with Canada and places like this and the rest of the world and Finland and, Sweden and Germany. There's just so many different ways to build a house, right? So, yeah, sustainable building practices. Where I feel passionate about is obviously energy rating's been really high. So there's the cost of electricity is not ever going to come down, right? So I think solar panels and stuff like this and double glazing should be a standard for all houses in Australia. We're so lucky here in WA to have the sun that we've got, and we don't use it. We don't benefit from this amazing sunlight we've got. So so sustainable. There's different building practices, and we're going to uncover some of them today, and hopefully learn a bit of information. And ultimately, I'm going to give you my feedback on what I recommend the most. Yeah, look, there's no right or wrong. It's just the pure and simple of it is times are changing. The government is now setting a new standard. Over in WA, currently 5-star energy rating is the standard. You have to hit a minimum of 5 stars. But if you buy an old double brick house, the chances are it's only a 2 or 3 star. So what that means is how much energy it needs to make it hotter in winter and cooler in summer. And then with energy prices constantly going up, it just makes sense when you've got the opportunity to build a house, go 6 star, go 7 star. It's going to save you money for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do here today is we're going to unpack all of that, especially having Chris here to talk about, which is awesome. And I think with the access to the internet and all that stuff, people are starting to look at this stuff more, especially now that, if you've not listened to episode 1 and 2 at the start, we talk about double brick. And
just hang up and go back to it.
Press pause. And how we go back to the fact that double brick isn't really sustainable anymore, and whether W was almost brainwashed by the double brick campaign in the 80s and stuff. Now that people have got access to the internet, they can do their own research and the amount of different practices out there. And we called this about 18 months ago that it's coming, and we've certainly set ourselves up to make sure that we're aware of it, and we'll unpack why, and you'll see, geez, and it's not even that much more expensive to do it, which is the best.
No. In some cases, it's cheaper, and architecturally, you don't have to build a square box like bricks. You can do cool things. You can cantilever balconies, and you can put curves in walls, and you can have long exposed rafter pitches and real features. So yeah, there's lots of benefits to it.
What the big thing I suppose with it is sustainable. It comes down to energy ratings, and you've touched on it. So just a bit more.
Okay.
What is an energy rating, and why do we have it?
So basically, an energy rating is a way that you rate the home in terms of the NatHus guide. So when you build a house, you get a set of building plans, right? Then you have to put them in for engineering. You get energy efficiency reports. Now, these are new standards. You can't build it without these things, right? So once you get all of these reports, there's multiple reports that you need. And then it goes to an independent surveyor who stamps off and says, yep, this is good. But what they'll do based on that and the building method, so the drawings have to be really good. You get working drawings and you get details by your engineer on how you're going to build it. They can calculate all this into a computer, and they can tell you, how hot that room's going to be at this time of the day, and if there's enough natural light and stuff like that. So all of these things combined create stars, so a star rating. So like I said, in WA at the moment, 5 stars is the standard. Now, builders don't even hit 5 stars. What they actually do is when they send these in and it comes in at 3.5 or 4 stars, there's a thing called a SEPS form that then the builder pays their engineering company. So I'm just going to say we use Structair, which is what most people use. So a SEPS is a Structair Energy Performance Solution. So basically, your house doesn't meet 5-star energies. However, if you do this, this, and this, it will. Okay. Then what the builder does is sign that off. The client signs it, and they never actually do it. So even though they're building substandard houses, they're getting away with it. But this is all changing, right? So over East, because they're more advanced in Western Australia, 6-star is the minimum requirement. It makes sense for the government to enforce this type of stuff because it uses less energy. So there's less electricity needed and waste and all this type of stuff. So like I said, in WA at the moment, 5 stars is the minimum. We only build 6 stars, me and you, Tony. But even 7 stars, 8 stars, 9 stars, passive homes, there's so many things. So a 6-star energy rated home is considered to be more efficient than a 5-star rated home. Some of the benefits of a 6-star energy rated home would include low energy bills. So this is the biggest thing for me. Why would you want to pay high? Why would you build a house that's going to cost you more money to run, right? How many people drive V8s now as opposed to hybrids and 2.4s and stuff like that? So it's just, you're wasting money on fuel. It's no different. Increased comfort. So basically, it's designed so that it's cool in the winter. Cool in the summer, hot in the winter, so you don't have to constantly be putting your aircon on. It's better for the environment, naturally. It increases property value, so that's another thing. So when you buy an old double brick home in Beaconsfield or something and it's 3 or 4 stars, if the house next to it's a 6-star energy rated home with solar panels and double glazing, for instance, it's worth more value. It's absolutely a no-brainer.
Because we're seeing that now. If you go on realestate.com or one of those ones and you look at the houses, they're starting to tell you this is a 6-star energy rated, and in their bios, because it's important to people.
It is important, of course it is.
And people, it's going to save you a fortune.
Eco-friendly, and like one thing when you're buying a house, you have to consider the bills and the rates and all that type of stuff. So if your bills are going to be like 90% less, fucking, it's a no-brainer. Even if the house costs 10 grand more, over a year or two, you've got that money back. So also, if you build a 6-star energy home, you can be eligible for some government incentives because the government are pushing this as the new standard. So like I said, I think in legislation changes here on July 1st where it's going to be 6 stars, the new 5-star, and then eventually it'll be 7-star and so on. So why not be ahead of the game? Future-proofing. So with energy prices rising and increasing concerns about climate change, having a 6-star energy rated home is a good investment. Okay, so 7-star is, again, just one more than that. So there's double glazing would be your new standards. You may have to have solar panels installed in it. It's even better for cooling and heating and stuff like that. So the goal of an energy rating or a high energy rating home is so it's comfortable to live in all year round. You don't have to constantly put on the heating and you don't have to put on the aircon. You've got appliances like LED downlights that use very, very minimal energy as opposed to like the old halogen lights and stuff like that. All your appliances, you can actually get appliances or your shower heads that use less water, all of this type of stuff. So it's really important and it's something that we can't ignore anymore. Yeah.
So I want to go into the 5-star and how to achieve it, but I want to go back on the SEPs thing that you were talking about just so that people can get a bit of an understanding. So you said the builders will sign off it, but they not do it. So what options has the client got then to make them or go back and get it fixed,
These builders don't get... Well, basically, the client would then have to come up with the additional cost. And the truth is, because the builder's building a substandard house, there's a contract in place. The client's agreed to what they're going to build. kind of a bit. It's kind of average, you know what I mean? It's basically a cheat sheet. It's not allowed in the East Coast. It's allowed in the West Coast. So basically, to get it by, we are going to do this, or if you do this and this, you will achieve this 5-star energy rating. So, yeah, the builder, the client doesn't really have much to do. So, again, I say it every episode, but you just got to be so careful when you're choosing your builder. And I think now, when it comes to building a house, it should be a question. You know, you're talking about the master and the inclusions and the type of stone bench tops. It should be, what energy rating is this home going to be? At the start of just consulting with a sales consultant, they won't know unless the builder has a standard that they only build 6-star energy rating homes like CC West. So yeah, I just think it's the way of the future, and we shouldn't ignore it anymore.
So basically, like, you know, if you've got a house and the builder's telling you we'll achieve 5 or 6 star, and then they bring you a SEPs form, whatever to sign.
Yep.
I wouldn't be signing it, and I'm going, hold on a minute, you've told me I'm going to get a 5, and check your contract 5-star, and make them do it.
Yep, I agree.
You know, they're saying, we can achieve it by doing this, and you saying, yeah, you can achieve it, but they don't. So
the truth is, the builder's cutting costs, right? So they don't want to add insulation into the cavity and stuff like that. The builder, most builders are project builders, and this is the thing with these big builders, because there are such a volume, they run at a low profit margin of 12, 15, 18%, something like that. Smaller builders are 25, 20%, you know, up to 30, but they're not cutting corners. So these guys don't want to spend an extra 2 or 3 grand on insulation, for instance, because then they need to pay the bricklayer an extra 2 grand to install the insulation. So that's 4 or 5 grand. Now, if they're only making 20 odd grand out a profit, 30 grand out of a house, because it's all price driven, then they just cut corners wherever they can. So
again, and listeners, this is why we're here talking to you about this stuff, because it just gets passed over. I mean, you can literally go through all our podcasts, and it'll tell you how to actually do this, and what to look for and what to ask, and it needs to stop, right? Because we need to get that confidence back in the buildings, because not all builders are like that. We've got some great builders out there that will literally, like CC West,
100%,
are guaranteeing a 6-star energy rated house. Now it might look a little bit more expensive, but you're going to save a fortune on bills
over the long run.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
the truth is, if I said to you, right, this house is 500k and this one's 520k, but that one is going to be 90% cheaper running costs. Which one are you going to go for? Seriously. You know what I mean? You might have to sacrifice on something like your standalone bath, or you might have to sacrifice, or maybe you can remove the air conditioning from the package because you don't fucking need aircon. You know what I mean? So, we have clients, and we talk about this all the time. You know, if you're going to drop 500k and then it goes up to 505 or 510, you worry about that 510k. You've already committed to 500k. Just commit to the extra 10 and then reap the benefits after it. I think so. And with inflation, mate, like I said, the prices are not going to go backwards. They're not going backwards. So if you're not building a house with solar panels, ask yourself why. If it's not got double glazing, ask yourself why. If it's not a 6-star minimum, ask yourself why.
And we've had an episode on social media, and go back there. I'm seeing questions on Facebook come through, when are the prices going to drop? They're not going to drop. They might drop a couple of grand, but they're not dropping. 2 reasons. One, builders need to make their margins back again, because the last 2 years have not made anything. And 2, this is the price that people can afford to pay nowadays. This is what's happening. They will come down a little bit, and they'll take a while, and they'll slow down, and you'll get more for your money with builders. But it's not. Anyway, that's off topic. That's what will happen. So, how do you achieve the 5-star? What kind of things do you do for that? I know you say what they are, but how do you achieve? What are the things in there that we get there too?
So, just a 5-star energy rated house is just your standard 4x2 double brick house, right? That's meant to hit 5-star. If it falls just short, the additional things that we can do is you can make the glass thicker slightly. So I think the standard, 5.1 mil, it can upgrade to 6.2 or something, whatever the millimeters are, I'm not sure. But because 80% of your heat loss in a house goes out through your windows and doors, right? So again, double glazing instantly solves that issue if you go double. Now, double glazing is about 30% dearer than an average single glazed house. However, in the scale of a house, you're talking an extra fucking 6 grand. Like, it should be a standard, right? It just should be a standard in building practice. But anyway, it is what it is. So double glazing or thicker glass is one thing. So in a double brick house, there's a 50 mil cavity between the external brick and the internal brick. What you can do is put like an insulation wrap that goes around the bricks and between the bricks, and that actually helps cool and heat up the house accordingly. So normally those 2 things would be the first things I would look at. On top of that, you can put sarking. So if your Colorbond has just destroyed tiles roofs, it used to be back here, double brick and tile roof was the standard. Seems to be Colorbond, right? So one thing with Colorbond, you can roll like a sarking And it's another layer of insulation underneath your roof. Because if you ever touch the ColourBond roof in WA, it's fucking hot, right? It's 40 degrees or something like that. And it's just, metal conducts heat. Like, it's terrible. Anyway. So you put a layer of insulation underneath the sarking, and then that just eliminates... eliminates that heat transfer. It's like a wrap that gets rolled on top of the roof trusses, and then the sheeting goes on top of it. Also eliminates that sort of, that when it rains in a ColourBond roof, it's kind of like being in a tin shed. So it eliminates that, but it also keeps it cool.
That soundproofing that you put on the sheets, remember?
Correct. Another thing, mate, so the standard ceiling insulation bats that they use, or the big builders use, are R2, upgrading them to an R4. So it's just a bit more density insulation, and that one sits on top of your gyprock, on top of your ceiling. So there you've got insulation in your wall cavity, you've got insulation on your ceiling, but upgrading it to a thicker density insulation, you're putting your sarking on the roof, and then looking at it upgrading the windows. You don't have to do all of them. These are just different things that you would do.
That 5-star.
Each of that might cost you an additional $2,000-$3,000 for a standard 4x2. So not that much money, right? But that's only to achieve 5-star. So to achieve 6-star, there's another set of guidelines. If you're building double brick. If you convert to timber, it'll be 6-star straight away. Yeah. So,
and why is that?
If you leave a brick or a bit of metal and a bit of timber in the sun, a 45-degree day for 12 hours, and you go and pick it up at 6 p.m., the timber doesn't ever get hot. It conducts heat, right? Sorry, it doesn't conduct heat the way brick and steel does. So you try and pick the brick up, you're going to burn your fingertips. If you try and pick the steel up, you roast your hand, right? Yeah. So it's just different building materials. You get other things like Masterwall and EPS panels, which is a insulated foam. These Hebel blocks are coming in now. I know we're going to touch on that in a bit, but these are all just amazing new build methods, and there's no negatives to them. Generally, they're lighter, it's quicker to install, it's easy to work with. The architects can get more creative. So, yeah, the build method has got a lot to say for regarding the 6-star energy.
Yep, and then obviously the next level is 7-star energy. So, what does a standard 6-star energy home look like from CC West? Let's big this up.
Yep.
We're a great builder.
Yep. So I think double glazing for the start. You include double glazing. You put solar panels. You do all those additional levels of insulation that I just spoke about. But on a timber frame home, you can have cladding on the outside. So you can have real fiber cement, which is only 7.5 mil thick, and then it gets texture coated, so it looks like a brick render. That is the lower level that you can do. But then what you would do in the because obviously there's no cavity in a timber home, but you've got 90 mil or 120, depending on how thick your timbers are. But then you fill that void with insulation. So you upgrade it to an R4. That's our standard. On top of that, on the outside, if you want to go with a different type of cladding, what we're pushing now is a Masterwall or an EPS, which is a compressed polystyrene. It's rock solid. Its sound values are unbelievable, so you can't hear trucks and noises and stuff like that if you're near a main road. It's like 25-year warranty from cracking. It's unbelievable, but most importantly, it's a polystyrene panel. So think of it when you go to Woolies and stuff like that, and you go in the get a box of beer and BWS, and you're in the cool room, right? That's EPS panels. So basically, you're cladding the outside of your home in that panel form, which is a standard over here. So that achieves you closer to 7 stars than 6 stars straight away.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get thicker panels. You get 50 mil, 75, 100, 150, I think it is. Depending on the style of the house, you can upgrade it, downgrade it. But these are all standards.
But the EPS stuff, people, I've spoken to clients and they're a bit nervous of it. Masterwall has been around for bloody years. It's a German construction, I think, isn't it?
Yep, German company. Yeah, that's right.
You drive around Pepe Grove, or you drive around Applecross to these newer houses, and a lot of them are being built with a Masterwall, and you won't even know because they can shape it, form it, render it, and it looks amazing.
100%.
Again, WA people, if you're listening, stop living in the double brick fantasy world. It's gone. It's done, right? And we know reliably, but we can't talk too much about it. We know that there's a big push to get rid of this monopoly of double bricks that's in there by these big companies, because it's not fair on other builders because they can't compete, right? You look over east, no one builds in double brick. You know, we're from Scotland, no one builds in double brick. You might
New Zealand
outside. It's all timber frame, steel frame, mostly timber frame. And everyone goes, it's not as solid. It's a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Completely nonsense. Yeah. And sorry for swearing, because we want to cut out the swearing. But that's where we're at with it, right? You have to do your research and your education.
There's just no negatives to it. There's literally no negatives. The only way I would suggest, if you wanted, brick because you like that look, the brick look. And don't get me wrong, I love the small acid wash bricks. You know, they look like they're recycled and stuff. I think it's amazing. You can have a feature wall, but these can be like false walls and stuff like that. You can get more creative with your roof because in a double brick construction, stick construction, which is another thing. It's going to happen. Australian government's trying to eliminate stick construction for the roofs because it's dangerous. They want to go through the truss route, which I think is a good thing. The stick construction of your roof actually relies heavily on the internal walls being load-bearing. So normally a brick's load-bearing, right? Where if it's a timber house and it's a stick roof, you don't often see it. It's normally a truss roof. So again, just little different things.
We spoke about this a couple of podcasts back, stick roofs. Go back and listen to it and we'll explain a bit, and it's explained there, right? So,
yeah.
But you shouldn't have to go back because you should be going in order 1 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. Everyone's doing that. So that's great. We've talked about the benefits, right? Lower energy bills. It's going to look better for the environment, and we've spoke about all that. What are some of the real cool things out there that we've seen? Solar hemp blocks, HEPA blocks.
I want to talk about Hebo blocks. Yeah, so Hebo blocks are a material made from autoclaved aerated concrete. So AAC, right? That's a bit of a tongue twister. So I'm reading that one. It's also they're manufactured by mixing cement, lime, and water and an aerating agent. So basically what this is for, it's high thermal insulation. So they're very good at absorbing the heat and not transferring it into the internal of the house, right? And like insane. Hebo blocks are, again, a way of the future. They're so light. They're polystyrene, essentially, you know? The concrete and polystyrene mixed together, so it's like so much lighter than a typical... Have you felt just the weight of a maxi brick? Like, it's not easy. So when it's light, it's easier to install. It's quicker to install. You build a house in half the time. That's the thing. A 2-in-1 bricky team here takes like 3-4 weeks to build a house. You know, if you go Hebo blocks or timber, it's like days. So like, it just, yeah, I don't know. Quicker installation, increase the property value. There's just so many things that are benefits. It's also fire resistant. So people have got this thing about a timber house would just go up. Bollocks. It has to get... It's just great. Like, how many houses did you see go on fire, right? But these Hebo blocks are a non-combustible material, so it's completely fire resistant and sound insulation. So they're just unbelievable. Where you're not going to hear your neighbours kicking, screaming, and yelling, especially if your glass is double glazed. So yeah, just there's not really a negative, to be honest, mate. Yeah,
it's exactly what, you know. There's that, and that's kind of same sort of something like hemp blocks, which.
Yep.
We don't know an awful lot about, and I think I spoke in the last podcast, but we have got someone that deals in it, and we're just trying to set up a time. So once we know more about the hemp stuff, we'll post on it and let you know, because we see that as a real eco-friendly one.
Yep.
So I want to go down that kind of eco-friendly look. So we know there is some. So the eco-friendly village that I know about that's really pushing that was 115 Hamilton.
Yep.
So it's the old Hamilton Hill High School.
Yep.
It's things that they done is when they knocked down the high school, they took it back. They took it down brick by brick, and then they used that brick for the roadways and recycled the road. So all the walls that you see are all the old high school.
It's not that expensive to live there.
It's crazy, and you've got ocean views.
Ocean views. You're right next to Fremantle. It's a real good spot.
And they've just opened the display home there, and it's opened. I think it's open Saturdays of that, and it's a complete eco-friendly, built sustainable. When we talk about sustainable, we mean full sustainable, reusing the rainwater, solar panels. Obviously not living off the grid, but as close as you can to living in an area.
As close as you can, but inner city living. I think that's Development WA that's done the development on that one, so it's a government incentive development, which is great. So yeah, the government's pushing for it, like this eco-friendly sort of model, I guess, or not fully. You don't have to be a greenie, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's certainly just being aware that you're not damaging the environment if you don't need to.
Take a swing by and look at that display. You wouldn't know it's an eco-friendly. It looks like a normal built house.
It's just a normal, but they are normal built houses, just not in WA.
It's not WA, I suppose.
But that's 7.5 star energy rating. So like, it would be a good exercise for anyone considering the difference with double brick and timber. Go through it, walk through it, and just feel how cool it is and stuff like that.
And I guarantee you, though, the rep or the owner in there will want to talk about it because he's built it because he's passionate.
Yep, 100%. You know? There's one more, mate. There's a passive house building type that's becoming very popular on the East Coast, and these are more people that live off the grid and real sort of greenies. These can go up to sort of 9-star, right? So a passive house is a type of building that's designed to use very little energy for heating and cooling, so same as the 6 and 7 stars. But there's a lot of rigorous standards that focus on thermal insulation, air tightness, and the efficient use of natural light and heat. The goal of a passive house is to provide a comfortable living environment while reducing building energy consumption by up to 90% to a standard double brick. Passive houses are characterized by high levels of insulation in the walls, roof, and floor. So that includes like your slab. So your concrete slab. Concrete gets cold in winter, gets hot in summer, blah, 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 right? So they actually put like foam-rated panels inside your concrete. So even your concrete's insulated. Not only the walls and the roof, the concrete as well. It's airtight. It's completely airtight. There's a lot of high-performance windows and doors, so basically double glazing is what I've always saying. Heat recovery ventilation systems. Solar gain through the windows, so the way it's designed has to maximize the natural light, stuff like this. Minimal space for heating and cooling, and low energy lighting and appliances. So basically they're designed to make it comfortable indoor temperature all year round while using hardly any energy. That's the goal of a passive house construction. And this is a huge thing over in the East Coast. It's just getting more and more and more popular. Now, these ones are a lot more expensive. There is quite a significant jump from a 6 or 7 star house. But again, you're not using any energy. You know what I mean? So it's eco-friendly. There's no negatives.
We've got so much awesome natural resources here. The sunlight, the wind that comes in the afternoon.
Fremantle Doctor.
It's beyond me why we don't use it. And this is why we're here doing this and letting you guys know. So you've went to the builder. They've said, I'm going to do a 6 star. You came and saw CC West and we're like, a 6 star energy rating. You've decided, I want to stay at 6, I don't want to go to 7. You're building, and we're happy. What kind of things do we need to look out for then? So obviously, SEPs is one of them. Like, guys, if your builder is using a SEPs, are they going to actually comply with it? Or are you saying they can do it if we do these things?
Well, just get it in writing.
Just
get it in writing. Normally, when you sign up for a house and land package or a house, it goes, you've got the name of the house, the Tony, for instance, the Tony Hyde, the most beautiful house I've ever seen, actually. Big, massive 5x2 double garage. So you got the name of the house, you'll get the standard of specification. So normally there's like a premium specification from a building company and like a lower end. Ask them, just say you want it on the contract or that PPA agreement that it must meet 6 star energy. Ask the question. Yeah. It's something that nobody ever talks about until it's too late. So just say right from the fucking get-go, and this has to meet 6 stars. Once it's in writing and it's in your contract, the builder then has to do it and you don't get charged any extra.
So just remember this, right? You'll see spec sheets and contracts saying, it's mega appliances for 500 upgrade and all this stuff. See, if you're being really smart, go, do you know what, if you can't, if the budget's not allowing you, get rid of those stuff and get your energy rating done.
100%.
You know what, you can't, it's a lot harder to upgrade your energy rating later on.
Yeah.
What's really easy is to change your oven over.
Yeah.
And put your aircon in later and put wood and flooring or whatever.
You won't need aircon, that's the thing, mate. So, you literally won't need aircon.
And if you do, we'll go and buy a little split system for $1,000 rather than a 12 grand for a full reverse cycle duct.
What was wrong with the ceiling fans back in the day? You know what I mean? It just circulates the airflow. It's not. The thing is, you got to get it through your head because people are used to living in double brick houses where it's really hot in summer, and we get such good summers here. But these 6 star, 7 star energy homes, you don't actually need aircon. Like, you don't need it. You don't need it to heat it up, and you don't need it to cool it down. So there's $10,000, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 that costs you in your building package. That's your double glazing windows straight away, just by taking out aircon, and you won't need aircon. So it's not going to use energy, blah, blah, blah. You don't get that fucking rattling noise of the air conditioner, condenser outside the master room wall that you don't think about until after pre-start, then you've got nowhere else to locate it. Like all these other things.
No servicing, no maintenance on it.
No maintenance, yeah. It's just reducing so much money. Just put a ceiling fan in, you'll be fine.
You think about it, right? Double glazing is a standard in the UK.
100%.
Because it keeps the heating in and keeps it cool out. But also
Canada.
Canada use it, and Canada build primarily in bloody timber.
Oh, timber, yeah.
And it's really cold in Canada, right? So
I think it's a bit cold.
And it gets really hot as well, right? So what's the future? What is the future of you spoke about the government again, they're going to be 7 star in the next couple of years.
I was just going to say, so 2-3 years time, 7 star will be the new standard. It's as simple as that. And I don't think you're going to achieve that building in double brick. So we've already seen 90% homes in WA being double brick, or 95 3 years ago, to maybe 50-50. 50 meaning 50 with brick veneer, 50 with timber. Dale Alcock, one of the biggest companies in WA, are building in timber now, you know what I mean, and just clad in the front in bricks. It's just the future is, mate, that times are changing, and WA is finally catching up with the rest of the world. Brick is clay. You dig into the ground. You can't replace it. There's no positive. It's all done by machinery. It's it's not keeping people employed. Every time a tree gets pulled out, 10 more get planted. It's sustainable. It means it's never gonna fail. So the future for me is 2-3 years time. 7-star will be the new standard, and that will not be achieved in a double brick construction.
Yeah. And there'll be some sort of regulation, and because I know what the government are like, there'll be some regulation where they go, if you built a house by this date and you didn't hit that, you'll be told to go back and fix it.
Yeah,
it'll happen.
Yeah, it's like what we spoke about.
If you say the steps, they'll go back and say, well, you have to get to that level, and you also need to get to level 6.
That's like what we said on SEPs at the Structail's now getting away with the SEPs because they're just refusing to do it now. The builders are just taking too many shortcuts and they're not doing it anymore. But a couple of podcasts ago, we talked about roof defaults when we spoke about buying or building. So, for instance, when you buy an established house and the roof doesn't comply, you actually get hit up to go and get it fixed. So it's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing in terms of your energy rating. It's going to be a new standard, and people have to start thinking about it now. So when you're building, when you're planning to build, plan for the future.
And remember, you'll get lowballed on an established, you're not a 6-star energy rating house, here's 20 grand.
I think so.
That's going to happen.
Because I'm going to have to upgrade the insulation, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do that, I'm going to have to rip out the windows. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying single glazed windows are bad or anything, but when you think of it, for an extra 6 grand or something, and you're spending $500,000, what's 6 grand? It's not that much of a difference.
And we do it all the time with clients. We go, I want the timber flooring and I want aircon. So they sacrifice the size of the house. Well, no, hold on. That's cosmetic. We can do that afterwards.
That's right.
Stop thinking you have to build your dream home right off the bat. First time buyers, you don't have to do it. We never done it. You buy in an area, you get your equity, you move on. That's what happens. You save your money. Guess what? Stay in a couple of Saturday nights, save your money.
Yeah.
Speak to your local tradies or your mates, and even apprentices that can actually, most apprentices could probably lay a floor for you, half of it.
Yeah.
Give them cash.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to do it, but don't think you need to have the finished house, but don't sacrifice on energy rating and size and what you want, because
agreed.
I guarantee you can't go back and do it. It'll cost you a fuckload more than the extra 6 grand they're going to do it.
Just think of it, right? There's 10 houses on a short street. There's 2 home opens. One's a 7-star energy rated house with no aircon on. You walk in, it's nice and cool. The real estate agent's there with a big smile because he knows he's going to win. Or you go into the 5-star double brick house down the road, the aircon's blasting, and the guy's got music on to make you fucking feel that it's upbeat. And there's 2 people looking at the double brick house. There's 1,200 people in the 7-star energy rated house. Naturally, it's going to be a bit more expensive, but again, you're going to spend that on your energy bill. So does it work out cheaper in the long run? Absolutely, absolutely, without a question of a doubt.
And that's exactly the point, right? So for what you get cost wise to put in the house, if you have to sacrifice a cosmetic thing, it's a no brainer for me. Maybe you can afford it all. Well, all good to you.
Happy
get
days,
it done, right? But we've got loads of clients right now that are happy to strip stuff out of the house so they can get to the level they want.
What's with the built-in barbecues, man? We're building a few houses and just the built-in barbecues are coming as a new standard. They just want it done by the builder. Remember, the builder puts a margin and a percentage on everything. So whatever you take out, you will save significantly. You're taking away the builder's margin plus the labour cost plus the material cost. If you were to do a couple of things after handover, like a built-in barbecue kitchen, it's going to be way cheaper.
Yeah. There's loads of things you do after. I don't know if we've touched on what to do. Well, maybe that'll be the next podcast. What you can do aftermarket, because there's so much. But you need to have cash or ability. And there's a lot of things you can do on your own that aren't actually that hard.
When you're looking at me, are you just thinking Slim Shady?
That's
all you're thinking about, isn't it?
Anymore. I can't even think of questions because I'm just lost in your blonde hair, mate. But look, shout
out to Melissa Ann Hair Studio, by the way. Thanks for doing this. You've done a great job.
It certainly wasn't that colour when I left you last night.
No, it wasn't.
I think we could go on for hours and hours about energy efficiency. If you want to know more and you really want to hear more about it, give us a shout.
Love it.
We're happy to try and bring somebody from Ecovision Homes or down south. There's all these guys we could bring in and have a chat to us, and actually that are like, we're passionate about it, but these guys live this stuff. And bring them in and ask questions. What questions do you want to know? We're happy to do it because we're here for you guys to make sure that you understand what building Perth's all about and all the different changes. Massive opportunities for it.
It is changing.
So before we close up, what have we got package wise that are ready to go? Do you remember when we talk about it? We've got
two in Balga. 2 in Balga, they're sitting about $440,000 for house and land. They're 3x2s. They're in a secure sort of They're not side by side, it's battle axe, is it?
Yeah.
So you've got your own, the driveway, you've got 3-point turning circle, but $440,000 in Balga. So Balga's only 15 Ks from the city, maybe 18 or something.
Balga's a little, I know Balga's got a little bit of a bad name in the past. I'm telling you, Balga's a little
It's on the up,
secret,
man.
by the way. I'm telling you.
It's coming up.
It's in between Inglewood and all these great places. It's going to be the next big thing. If you're looking for an investment, they're the ones. And we've
Hold on,
got
so that's 440 house and land, not just a house. 400. A standard 3x2 house now is pushing 300k alone, right? So 440 house and land, no maintenance required, full landscaping, turnkey, 6-star energy rated home. So that's what we've got available. Where else have we got?
We've got. What was the other one we've got? I can't think now.
Oh, Southern River.
Southern River.
Southern River's a little pocket just next to Canningvale. Very popular area. East side of Perth, if you want to look at it. Southeast, near Carousel Shopping Centre. That is Dale Myos, one of our favourite land agents who will be coming on the podcast shortly. Yep. That's a turnkey package as well.
Yeah, it's about 480, 490.
490. The average house in Canningvale, which is the neighbouring suburbs, pushing 708 now. So
there you go. And it's a 3x2 with a rear loading garage on strata.
Yeah.
And the strata fees are like 250 a quarter.
Nothing. So that would suit maybe a mature person, sort of downsizing, or maybe a first home, single mum with kids. So it's very secure and safe.
Easy to rent.
Not big families and stuff like that. Maybe a single FIFO worker that just wants an investment that's going to pay them a weekly wage. You can rent a room out, that type of stuff. So
there's also one at Midvale, which is just at Midland, up and coming suburb. It's quite quiet. No one knows about. Perfect for FIFO. We've got 2 3x2s in there. They're pushing about 510, 520.
Yeah.
Then they're both 4x2s. One's got a massive back garden.
Yeah.
Perfect for FIFO workers. Really, it's like 15 minutes to the city, and that's going out towards that Ellenbrook Midland way up that way. So if you listen to our infrastructure, you'll know why that's really good. Guys, we're not here just messing about. We're giving you the facts. So if any of those things are kind of interested to you, and we've got loads of other ones that we can find, and we'll go and find stuff for you as well.
Yeah, of course.
Have a look. But they're the ones that are kind of hot that we know that you're getting that 5 to 6% yield return as well.
Yes. Right? So basically, guys, we're redoing our CC West website. It needs a freshen up. It's been like that for 5 years. And what's going to happen is every single month we're going to update it with 6 new house and land packages, which we feel are the best value for money at the time. The reason we'll update it every month is because they'll be sold every month. Yeah. So you got to be onto it. So when that website drops in about 6 weeks' time, big shout out to Paul from Monday Media. Anyone that wants to get a website done, you have to go on and check out Monday Media. They've got an amazing team. They do such a good job and they're very competitive. But Paul's level of professionalism and detail for his websites and videography is just unbelievable. So the website I'm really excited about. But yeah, every single month we're going to have an investment tab on there, or your hottest deals basically, which is going to be, they're going to get upgraded, and there's going to be 6 of them, if there's 6 available every month, and they'll get refreshed. So a lot of opportunity in that one, especially for you as investors that maybe just want, like that Balga one, for instance. You will have minimum 50 applicants to rent that house in Balga. Minimum. Easy. And all of these come with a 6-month guarantee build time, by the way. Guarantee build time. So there's no risk involved. You can look at the median rent in Balga. It's about $460 a week at the moment for a 3x2. It's like 15, 18 Ks from the CBD. It's great for people that are moving over from East Coast. You'll
never not rent it, and we've got exclusive access to those both bits of land, and we'll
no one else can build on them.
So it's us, ours. So you want it? Give us a shout and we'll make it happen.
For sure.
In about 3 seconds.
For sure. So I think that's it for today, Tom. That was really good. It's something I spoke a lot on that one because I am very passionate on it. I've been screaming for ages that this is just the way we should be building and looking at it, and it's really pleasing to see when you drive through these estates now. You can see the big difference. Look, steel as well, not all timber. Like me personally, I'm only timber because I'm a chippy, but steel is not a bad method of construction either that you could you can look at. But yeah, just be open-minded and just understand the energy rating, and you'll know what I mean, because if you live in WA and you've grew up here, go to your granny's house and that double brick house that's fucking roasting in summer, nobody sits in the little back sunroom because it's too hot. Stop building them. Start building these eco-friendly, cool houses.
I was sitting with a client the other day, and the Scottish got the better of me, and I called a joiner.
Oh yeah, instead
and
of
he
a
just
carpenter.
looked at me like I was talking. I was like, a chippy carpenter. So if you ever hear me say joiner, it's a chippy.
It's a carpenter.
It's a That's very Scottish.
Well, I'm a joiner. I'm a carpenter. I'm a carpenter joinery apprenticeship, but joiners are different.
Just
level.
was a joiner.
They're more furniture making and stuff like that over here.
Yeah, nah. But look, I want everyone to like, subscribe, and share. But what I really want is I want everyone
Comment
to
on my hair.
this. That's all I want to hear about, because it's just I know I've been off today. I get that, but I can't stop looking at it. It's like
People buy cars and stuff in midlife crises. I've just grow moustaches, start vaping, cut my top knob off, and then go M&M. I don't know. If you don't listen to the podcast often, just do it for this one, just so you can check this hair. Give me your honest feedback. Does it look good or not? Nah, I don't know. I know the answer. It's terrible.
Give us your feedback.
Brilliant. Happy days, mate. That was good.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And like I said, like, subscribe, share, comments. Let us know what you want to hear about, as always. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.